Back to Court TV Live, I'm Julie Grant. Love thy neighbor, a virtue some may live by, but this isn't the case in our latest trial. A neighborhood feud allegedly leads to death in the case brought against 20-year-old defendant Zach Latham. Latham is charged in the 2020 stabbing of his neighbor, 51-year-old Timmy Durham Sr. Prosecutors believe the problems between Latham and his neighbors began after the victim's wife complained about the defendant speeding through their New Jersey neighborhood. Court TV anchor Ted Rowlands has more on the rise and the fall of an aspiring TikTok star.
Emergency. There's blood all over the place. I just got assaulted and jumped. Are you the one that got stabbed? No, that was the other victim, but I got beat up really bad and I had blood all over me.
Zachary Latham, on trial for manslaughter, called 911 from his house after a fatal encounter with his neighbors on May 4th of the year 2020.
They came with trucks, came on my property with guns, and then when I caught them off, they drove away.
Latham's neighbor, 50-year-old William Timmy Durham Sr., a New Jersey corrections officer, was fatally stabbed in that fight. The tension had been building between the Durham family and Latham over what the family considered his reckless driving in the neighborhood until it culminated into a deadly fight, which was captured on video.
Back out! Back up! Big! Get off of my property!
Oh, you got a jump on my property? You got me? Get off
the property! Get off of the property!
In the months before this video was taken, the then 18-year-old Latham posted other videos on TikTok of his encounters with the Durhams that got more than 3 million views. Latham took those videos down, but a TikTok user has since reposted one.
What are you gonna do, Karen?
That's not my name, so get my name straight. Go ahead.
You okay, Karen? Go ahead, get my tag.
The woman in this video is Durham's wife, Catherine. The Durham family says Latham posted the videos so that he could be internet famous. According to an affidavit, after a verbal altercation, the Durhams followed Zachary Latham to his house. Latham then entered his home and armed himself with a knife and a stun gun. One of the Durham sons took a, quote, fighting stance, and then the fatal, prolonged fight began in the garage. Now, Zachary Latham is charged with second-degree reckless manslaughter, aggravated assault, and weapons offenses. He could face between 5 and 10 years in prison if convicted. Prosecutors say that Latham himself is responsible for escalating the encounter.
We agree. The Durhams went down to the defendant's home. Yes, they did. They intended to confront the defendant. Yes. But the defendant escalated that confrontation inappropriately with the use of deadly force.
Zachary Latham's attorney says his client acted in self-defense after he was pursued by the Durhams.
Zach only did what anyone would have done in that situation. The evidence will show that he acted in such ways to protect himself, to protect his young wife.
So was it a killing in self-defense, a justifiable homicide, or was this an unlawful homicide, as the state says? Let me bring in my guests, see what they think. In Denver, Colorado, trial attorney Kelly Hyman, and in Nashville, retired police sergeant Melissa Pinkleton. Want to get both of your thoughts on this one. Sergeant Pinkleton, let me begin with you first, if I may, please. Your assessment of this case.
There's no doubt that this kid is a punk, okay? There's no doubt that he's a punk and he wanted some TikTok fame. And, but I have some problems with the video that you just showed. I have some problems, and I think the jury's gonna have some problems too, because you see the corrections officer and the other person that he was with storming onto this kid's property and Mr. Latham's property, and walking in a manner that is very aggressive, very confrontational. I mean, regardless of what happened on the road before, the proper way that the correction officer could have handled it is to have called somebody, called the police, pursued this in a different way and not gone onto his property in such an aggressive, confrontational manner. So it's going to be interesting what the jury's going to think about that. But I personally see that there could be some problems with this case. There's no slam dunk here.
No, that's why cases like this go to trial, right? We know that. Kelly Hyman, I want you to weigh in. Your assessment, tell me the things you were picking up on in Ted's report and what you think is going to become a real issue in this one.
No, I absolutely agree. When I first watched that video and you see someone going on to someone else's property and you see him very clearly saying, get off my property, get off my property. Ultimately, we're going to have to see what the jury does based on the evidence and the facts presented to them. But there is a strong argument on the fact that there could potentially be a self-defense considering the other person came onto his property.
And let me throw another little wrinkle in this, the law. So we know every state is different. As we're having this conversation, we're all in different states. And in the United States, the states are sovereign. I know our viewers in the UK really are fascinated by our laws and our system of justice, how it works. So in New Jersey, there is a legal duty to retreat. New Jersey does not have a stand your ground law. So here, what might be very bad for Zachary Latham and very good for these prosecutors is that he goes in the house. As they were on the property, as they were coming to, he goes in the house. And the state's going to say, should have stayed in that house rather than coming back outside with the knife and the stun gun. Sergeant Pinkleton, your response?
It's frustrating to hear, and yes, that will throw a wrinkle in it. And so when you say, because Tennessee, we do not have a duty to retreat, and you're right, we're all in different states. So just for clarification purposes, Julie, are you saying that even in your own home you have a duty to retreat, or just in general?
Yeah, if you're outside of your home is what the law.
Well, he was in the garage. Yeah. Are they going to count the garage as being inside the house?
That's
Do you see what I'm saying?
Point.
I think that there's going to be so many little technicalities.
And it's funny, you hit the nail right on the head, Sarge, and we're going to play the opening statements for everybody. So this trial was just getting underway as we were in our verdict coverage with the Gwyneth Paltrow case. So we're going to catch everybody up today, and it works out perfectly because that trial is dark on certain days of the week. So everybody's going to be all caught up by the time we're all watching it together live, and that's exactly what defense counsel is arguing. He's in the garage. The garage is part of the home. It's an extension of the house, all of that. So this is really tricky. And then, of course, the state's saying that this kid was looking to become TikTok famous, that he's posting these TikToks, looking to try to agitate his neighbors, speeding, breaking the law in his neighborhood to try to get likes on TikTok. This is so sad. Either way this one goes, it's just so sad. Yeah, I know you both agree with that, certainly. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to bring you the opening statements in this case in our next hour.